Good evening. Welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. The City of Newark, New Jersey, is selling homes or some small residential properties for as little as $1. The properties have all been seized by the city for non-payment of taxes, bills, or other public debt. In order to qualify for the Home Ownership Revitalization Program, potential buyers are required to have lived in Newark for at least 5 years or be city residents displaced by gentrification. Today, ahead of the 5-day Newark, New Jersey Achieve the Dream event, which kicks off on Friday, June 23rd, we speak with Newark Mayor Ras Baraka and Naca CEO Bruce Marks regarding the Home Ownership Revitalization Program and the sale of the properties in Newark. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Marks, good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you. It's great to be here.
Good to have you. We're going to start with the mayor only because the mayor, we're told, is on a very tight schedule, and so we want to get a couple of things in with the mayor. But we are really excited to also hear from you, Mr. Marks. But Mr. Mayor, again, welcome to the Black Presses. Let it be known what motivated the city, Mr. Mayor, to implement the home ownership revitalization program and sell properties for as little as $1.
So first, it's not just foreclosed properties. These are also abandoned properties for the most part. A lot of abandoned properties, and hopefully we're moving into vacant lots as well with some prefab. So we're going to test that out too. One, the wealth gap in New Jersey is one of the highest in the nation. Over $300,000 in median wealth for white families and about 17,000 for African American families. So the gap is huge. And Newark is like a huge part of that, where only over 70% of the people in the city actually rent. So we began the program with Naca around Section 8 voucher homeowner program, and I think it was successful. We have a couple of people in homes now who were in public housing generationally, and now they have their own home, and we did that through Naca and HUD and us providing properties for them and getting a local developer to a local contractor to develop the property and giving it right into the Naca folks who would then make sure that it was available for folks who are on Section 8.
Yeah.
We also
go ahead.
We talked further about how to expand that. So it's not just people on Section 8. There are also people who can't get Section 8, who are maybe 80%, 60% of the AMI, who need opportunity as well because they just don't have access to down payment and the other kind of things that's necessary to buy the home, whether it's bad credit or other kind of issues.
Yeah, and Mr. Mayor, how do you weed out potential corporate businesses or corporations for trying to swoop in and snap up some of these homes?
Well, I mean, obviously you're going to be picked and you go through a whole process through NACA and they'll be able to identify you. So they're doing most of the process and the hard work there and making sure we get Newark residents, people who actually qualify for this. Also walking them through the process of home ownership, getting in contact with a contractor, all the things that are necessary in order to get in the home and stay in the home. NACA will be delivering those services for us, which is why it's a great partnership. We're providing the land and the will to do it, and they're really taking care of everything else to make sure these are Newark residents as well.
Yeah, and on a side note, I read a recent endorsement of you for governor. Not that you've declared for governor, but I thought it was very interesting because we have talked on this program before about what you have done and what you've meant for the city of Newark. We talked about the water situation and how you were able to get that back on track, whereas other cities we know, Jackson, Flint, continue to struggle. But it was written about you that you, I'm going to quote this article. It says, Ras Baraka was the model for all American mayors on the environmental front with his success in replacing the lead pipes contaminating the drinking water of Newark. That alone would have qualified him as one of America's most effective current mayors. And it goes on to list a whole bunch of achievements. Now, at this
look like this.
Well, this program that we're talking about today was not included in that article.
No,
Newark, obviously, I understand that your dad once was the mayor. If I'm correct?
no, he wasn't. No, my father was a community activist, but he never was in politics. He
Okay.
helped get the first black
What's
mayor
your
elected.
impetus,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor? I mean, the love for this city is shining through in your actions.
I was born and raised here. I mean, my family's been here almost 100 years. So, I mean, Newark is very insular like that. We love our city. I'm very proud of it. So, we do what we can uh, against incredible obstacles to try to be successful, and we committed to that. I mean, I'm talking about all of the people in the city, not just myself as the mayor. So, this is just an extension of the community I'm from.
Yeah, yeah, and before we bring in Mr. Marks, a little bit more, Mr. Mayor, on the criteria for qualifying buyers under this program. How was that decided? How did you determine what the criteria would be, and the overall goal here? Like you said, these are some abandoned homes as well. I know part of it is to clean up blight, and probably one of the best ways you can clean up blight, but how do you what was going into this as far as coming up with the qualifications just to make sure that for lack of a better term, the right individuals get into these homes?
Well, I mean, there's income qualifications, obviously, 80% area median income. This is what we use to do inclusionary zoning that tells developers they have to build affordability in their property. And we usually target that group of people. It's not too low, it's not too high, 80, 60, 40. Most of the people that are getting vouchers from public housing are way below 30% of the area area median income. Very, very, very low. And so right above that, there are a group of people who make too much money to be able to qualify for Section 8, and
Right.
make too little money to access the market in the way that they need to access it, and have access to capital and loans and all the things that are necessary, or even have the right credit score and all this other thing. So they're kind of condemned to renting for the rest of their life and generationally, which adds to the kind of wealth gap that we have in the state of New Jersey. The home ownership is just so far out of reach for those folks. So we're really just bringing it back into reach for people and give them the opportunity to have access to the same things that other people have access to.
Yeah, and so this and we're about to talk to Mr. Marks too, but this 5-day program coming up, he's told us pre-show how many people are coming to Newark, um, just to see the response. How encouraged are you seeing the response?
Yeah, it just means that a lot of people want to be a part of this. They all want to people want to own homes, and this kind of idea that people want to live in the conditions they live in is just not true. They want to be able to better themselves, their family. They just need to have the opportunity and access to do that, and a lot of times it's not provided for them. I know a lot of people see a property for $1, they're gonna rush down there to figure that out. But ultimately, once you go through the process of Naca, so a lot of people may fall off because they simply just don't want to go through the kind of weeks of meetings and programming that you have to go to be able to qualify, and all these other things. Because it's not just trying to get people property; you're trying to get them prepared to stay in the property that they get and enjoy the equity that they're going to receive. Most of these people, when they walk in the property, they're going to have instant equity right away.
Yeah.
I mean, because the values of the property in Newark have doubled, tripled even. And so these folks are getting property where they're going to walk into equity like immediately.
And if you will, we know that New Jersey, through no fault of Newark or yours, has some of the highest property taxes in America. Um, is that something that is being explained to these potential home buyers, that you're going to have property taxes?
Yeah, obviously, when you speak to Mark, he'll explain to you. Uh, I think Knock is very thorough in all of that stuff. So, they're going to make sure all these folks know what it is and the income that they need to be able to afford the mortgage and the property tax and so forth and so on. So, they're going to be, because if we did this with folks who get vouchers, I mean, folks who do not get that uh, may have more flexibility in terms of their income as well. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Maybe when you are governor, you'll help to change the property tax situation. The mayor says, "Listen, I got my hands full as mayor." We appreciate you, Mr. Marks. How did the partnership with the city of Newark come about?
Well, I mean, I think in some ways, in what you hear, what you hear is that Mayor Baraka is being a little too modest on this. This is a really game changer. And what that means is that the existing system around the country is that with the city owns a lot of lots and they own a lot of the vacant properties. Those goes to the developers and the developers, and there's no evil around being a developer, but how do you change the process out there so you can get homes out there at affordable payment? So what the mayor is doing is it's a respect for the Newark residents. So that means a Newark resident can get that property in that lot for $1. And then they can either get the financing to actually renovate it or for a new construction. And if you look at the new construction, you're talking about when you eliminate the developer fee, and that's about 25 to 50% of the cost. When you reduce the cost of the building the house by about 20%, and you get the land for $1, what you're talking about is being able to have a really beautiful home that is factory built and a modular home, and you're talking about a purchase price between $120,000 and $150,000, meaning a mortgage payment full in with taxes and everything between $750 a month or $1,000 a month. That's a game changer out there, and that hasn't been done anywhere in the country. So this sets a standard not just for Newark and for the residents of Newark, but for the country. And what the mayor is doing and what his team is doing is getting into the minutia, getting into the details and saying, how do we change how housing development gets done in the city of Newark, frankly, nationally? How do we take those houses that are vacant and make them into really, really beautiful homes? And people talk about crime. But who is the most effective crime fighter? It is the homeowner. It's the homeowner who is going to defend their home, to defend their neighborhood. And that's what you want. So this is a crime prevention program. This is a neighborhood stabilization program. And that's what the mayor is doing. And so it's changing the whole structure. And we're talking about this as a private sector initiative out there. So it doesn't eat up a lot of the resources that the mayor needs for the services that need to be provided throughout the city. So it's a true partnership, but you got to see it to believe it. And that's why we have over 25,000 people who are going to come to this event. And they get access to the best mortgage in the country. No down payment, no closing costs, no fees at a below market fixed rate, the lowest rate out there. But what the mayor's doing, because the issue is you can do the best mortgage, but if you don't have the inventory, then it's going to be really frustrating. And that's what the mayor is doing. So we're really excited about this partnership.
And what specific responsibilities does Naca have in assisting, I should say, potential buyers with acquiring these properties?
Well, we are a nonprofit organization. So we're the largest HUD approved counseling agency in the country. There's 1,700. We do between 20 and 30% of all the counseling in the country. But we also have a track record that is, the best out there. With over 75,000 Naca homeowners, we have a foreclosure rate of 0.00012, about 100th of 1%, and 93% of our homeowners are people of color. Yes, we're open to everybody, but that's our focus. So, so when someone comes to the event, in one day, they'll get through the whole process, the home buyer workshop, uploading their information and documents. Number 3, meeting with a NACA counselor, for face-to-face counseling, and then meeting with an underwriter to be NACA qualified or your next steps. So, you have to be NACA qualified to be able to access this, the $1 home ownership program, but everybody is, open and has the opportunity to really participate in that program. And what the mayor said, I could just add one thing. People on Section 8 on a housing choice voucher. What the mayor has done is he's done the outreach to 6,500 of Newark residents who have a Section 8 housing choice voucher. And we did a workshop. We had over 1,000 people come, everyone with a Section 8. Because what does it mean? People work when they have a Section 8. They just don't get paid enough or what their worth is. So what Section 8 Day does is subsidizes their income because they should get paid more, but they're not. And we have a track record of doing that. So the mayor is setting a standard, not just for Newark, but for this country.
And Mr. Mayor, your long-term expectations for this down the road, ideally, how is this all going to eventually play out?
Well, hopefully we put some people in some homes. I mean, that's really what the objective is. I mean, we obviously don't have an inventory for tens of thousands of people, but we have enough to get a substantial number of people in homes. And hopefully it's something that, as Mark stated, picks up around the state, around the country, that other people begin to do the same exact thing once they see that this is plausible and doable, that other people use it as an opportunity to deal with the wealth gap, fight poverty, do all the other kind of things, because you automatically giving people wealth. The minute they go into this home and they're able to do this, somebody with a Section 8 voucher, that home is going to be worth a substantial amount of money. That's something that you can pass down to your children generation. You can't pass your Section 8 voucher. I mean, you put people in the home generationally. You pass down an apartment in Braxton Terrace projects. Now you can pass down a home that is, yours. And some of these people are going to own these homes in 15 years outright, which I think is amazing. By the way, and I think is game changing, like you said. And I think nationally, other people should begin picking this up, because this is not something just relegated to Newark, right?
Right.
Section 8 program has been a national program. We just actually did it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the difference.
Yeah, and you're mentioning that you hope it catches on. It should catch on nationally. Have you heard from other cities, other municipalities?
Yeah, people waiting, because it's difficult for elected officials to take risk. Because you take risk, and like you can take risks in the private sector, right? And come back the next day and say you was being imaginative. I mean, in the public sector, you're going to imagine yourself with another job. So at the end of the day, people have to see that this thing actually has some merit, that it's working in order to jump in. It's difficult, and so people are waiting for that. And I think the Section 8 program has caught on to a lot of people because we've actually put people in homes. And so there are more people asking about that. And it's also, to me, easier because a voucher is you guaranteed money, right? You got this guarantee of a voucher, which is sometimes $1,600, $1,700, $1,800. You guaranteed this money, So at the end of the day, people are, even folks at HUD, are very interested in figuring out how we did this here to expand it, to make a program they were trying to do, because HUD is really a transitional program. It's not for generations. We just could not figure out how to fix it so people have been in there for generations in public housing, right? It was created to be transitional housing, but it's been permanent housing for generations. And so they support that.
Well, one of our viewers, Power 96, says land and home ownership is the quickest way to generate generational wealth. He says, I salute you all. He says he owns 2 homes and he's working on a third. He is a big fan. And I'm getting another message asking, and you may have already said this, and I know we got to let you go, Mr. Mayor, but is it only for first-time home buyers?
No, I don't. We haven't said that. So, I mean, if people are interested, I think they should come through. You still have to have the requirements of the, area median income. But we welcome. But they have to be Newark residents. Now, Naca has programs for all types of people, right? So
Mhm.
I've been telling people you should just go down there and get in touch with them anyway, because they have a various amount of programs in Naca anyway, right? Our programs are for Newark residents only, but that doesn't
Right.
mean you won't find another, kind of product that they make available to you that might benefit you. You should go check that out. But here it's for Newark residents.
Great. Well, Mr. Mayor, we really appreciate you taking out the time. We know you got to run,
Yeah.
and I'm sure Mr. Marks will fill in the rest of the blanks that we may have here. But thanks so much, and
Guys,
congratulations on this program.
thank you. All right.
Yeah, and I just want to say to the mayor, this is what he did. He did a information setting at the city hall last Monday, and he put the word out, and we had mayor over 500 people come to do that, and
Yeah,
the
probably
mayor,
more. Yeah.
yeah, 500 to 800 people, probably about 800 people come. It only fits in the city council 250 people, and the mayor was outside for an hour and a half talking to everybody like family. Well, that should be the standard for every elected official in this country. And, he took the time with everybody. So, really appreciate that. But he's right. You know, if you build it, it sounds too good to be true. So
Yeah.
you have to prove it to really demonstrate it. And now we have the opportunity to prove it. So during the event, you'll see people closing on their homes right at the event.
Oh,
You'll see
wow.
people being NACA qualified at the event. So it's one of those things that you have to see it, to feel it, to understand it, and the impact. But the fact of the matter is, it's word of mouth. People are coming because they hear about it from family, friends, coworkers, neighbors. That's the best reflection on the program. And that's the best reflection of the mayor. When he puts the word out, he says, come to an event, come for the information, people come.
Yeah, and how does NACA determine the below market fixed rate for the mortgages offered through the program? Are there any limitations or potential adjustments to the rates in the future?
No. So the fact of the matter is that you have to do a fixed rate. That's the right way to do lending. So, if you were to go to a Wells Fargo or Chase or Citi or any bank and say, what is their fixed rate 30-year mortgage? They won't tell you. They'll say, oh, put your information in to our system. We'll tell you. And we'll look at the credit score and all that. At NACA, you go to our website at naca.com and you
Yes.
look and say, that's the rate. That's the rate for low and moderate income people, regardless of what your credit score is. That's what everybody gets. So it's always the lowest rate out there. As you can see, it's always the lowest rate out there with no down payment, no closing costs, no fees. And we never consider anybody's credit score. We focus on people's payment history that they control over the last 12 months. So, for example, if someone has late payments because they couldn't afford the medical bills,
Right.
that's not a reflection of whether they're ready for home ownership. That just means that we have a dysfunctional, unaffordable healthcare system. And so that means that if you stick with NACA, you'll have the opportunity to purchase a home on the best terms in this country. And now you can deal with the inventory for what Mayor Baraka is doing in terms of making that available. And if you drive through Newark or any city, you see vacant lots out there.
Yeah.
You see abandoned housing out there. Well, just imagine what a city would be like where every one of those lots is a homeowner.
Well, why do you
Every one of those
suppose?
vacant homes is a homeowner.
Yeah, maybe this was more of a question for the mayor, but since you mentioned it, why do you suppose more cities, more communities, more municipalities aren't doing something like this?
Well, because when you think of, the existing home ownership mortgage process, everybody's getting their piece of it, right? Everybody is getting
American greed.
the American greed. So so you have the developers getting the 25 to 50% off of the deal. You have the real estate agents. You have the settlement agents. You have the contract. You have all the players, that the banks, most importantly, getting their fees and all that. So if you want to say, let's have a structure out there that streamlines that whole process, right? That eliminates all those people feeding off of that home. You can make it affordable. You can make it affordable. So you eliminate the developers. You work with the contractors who are doing the work. You eliminate the cost of the land. You build factory built, so that 80% of the work gets done in a factory. So you have the quality there, beautiful homes, and then you're building the foundation, the structure on site. And then you have the best in America mortgage, where there are no closing costs. There are no down payments. There are no fees, so that you can make it work. But remember, you got to give even more credit to Mayor Baraka, because a lot of people are so tied to the developers that they won't do something like this.
Yeah.
But when you're tied to the neighborhood and to the community, that's when you can be a game changer.
Well, and you also mentioned, speaking of all the fees and things of that nature, you mentioned mortgage insurance, that MIP, that dreaded MIP. But so what kind of mortgages are they? FHA requires that MIP if if it's less than 20% or something like that. So what kind of mortgages are these?
So what a scam is mortgage insurance. I mean, it is an unbelievable scam.
Absolutely.
I mean, just think of the concept that here you're insuring the bank's loans, right? 20% of that. And it actually incentivizes the lender to foreclose. It incentivizes them because they want to foreclose sooner to reduce their risk.
Yeah.
So it provides not only no benefit to the home buyer or the homeowner, but it actually is worse. So what we said is that there is no mortgage insurance on this. There is none. And so, but what we do is we do the post-purchase assistance. So if someone is late on their mortgage payments, we can help them either modify the mortgage or provide financial assistance for that homeowner. And who makes the decision on the financial assistance? It's fellow homeowners as a peer lending committee, and they don't have to pay it back. So the fact of the matter is, you do the initial counseling, you have the best mortgage in America, and you have the post-purchase assistance. That whole combination makes this, a comprehensive program that's setting the standard for the country. So that's why when people say it sounds too good to be true, but what built the white middle class after World War II? It was the VA no down payment mortgage. And it was the white middle class because someone of color could not get that mortgage or they couldn't buy those properties.
Yep.
So take that same concept, and put in the comprehensive counseling, and you can do this on a massive scale. We have $20 billion of this one mortgage product. 20 billion, 15 billion from Bank of America, who's doing the right thing and is a true partner. And if we needed more of that mortgage money, it's there.
Yeah, wow. Can you share any success stories or examples of individuals or families who have already benefited from the Home Ownership Revitalization Program?
Oh, we do miracles every day. I mean, I have the best job in this country. There's no better job than this. You can talk about Alisa, who she purchased a home in Newark using her Section 8. She was actually, at one point she'll tell you she was homeless. And what is that Section 8? When you use that Section 8 for the mortgage payment, so it's called the payment standard. When you use that, now in less than 20 years from having no assets, she's going to have wealth of probably $200,000.
Yeah. I also understand that we do have one of those stories live here. Patricia Hobbs is with us.
Nice.
We're proud to introduce Patricia Hobbs. Hi, Patricia. How are you?
How you doing?
And where have you been? Yes, thank you. Great to see you.
Well, Patricia, tell us about your story. First of all, did you also initially find this too good to be true?
Um, no, because I had been manifesting becoming a homeowner prior to finding out that NACA was going to do this. So I felt like the universe brought it into North because I had been manifesting it and it was my time.
Okay. And so the process, what was that like? Walk us through.
So I had to submit and upload documentation for NACA. It was a pretty smooth process for me. I can't say that it was hard. NACA held my hand the entire way. Great counselors. Any questions I had, they addressed them. Anything that we weren't unsure about, they made sure to find out and make sure that I was aware of what was happening. But for me, it was a process that was pretty easy. Maybe I started in early January, submitting all of my paperwork. By November, the end of November, the day after Thanksgiving, I closed on my home.
Wow. So it was sounds like a quick process, Mr. Marks.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to work with anybody for as long as it takes. So it is really nice to hear that Patricia was able to get through it in a smooth process. That's what we try to do all the time. But as long as it takes, it could take a month. It could take a year or two. For as long as it takes. But the fact of the matter is, we've streamlined this process, and that the home buyer controls the process. The home
Right.
buyer controls the process. So that means that the home buyer, because they have their own member portal, they put in their information, they upload their documents, and then once that's done, they can get a counseling appointment within a couple of weeks.
Hmm.
And so, and we do this nationwide. And as I said, it's great to see Patricia. Tell us about your house.
As you can see, some of the background, it's a beautiful home. I have a driveway, a backyard, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's everything that I manifested. Came fully with 2023 appliances from LG. It's just a beautiful home. I'm just truly thankful that the mayor took an opportunity on the residents in Newark and gave us an opportunity to become homeowners to break generational curses to build generational wealth.
Well, Mr. Marks, you talked about you kind of gave us a little appetizer about the 5 day program. Why don't you tell us a little bit more and how? I mean, you got so many people coming already. Is it still open to others to sign up and come by?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, people need to go to our website at naca.com, but you need to come because you almost have like an obligation to come because people's rents are so high now, and it's sometimes it's even hard to rent an apartment because of what these landlords are putting people through. So
Absolutely.
so you can get a mortgage often for less than you're paying in rent. And because, we do what we call character-based lending, we never consider anyone's credit score. So we look at the payments that someone controls, as we talked about,
Hmm.
and understanding the reality out there. That, people don't fit into a certain box or, in terms of how to verify income and to do that. And so we look at that. And so that's why we can honestly and clearly say that if you stick with NACA, you'll have an opportunity to be a homeowner. And then, out on the best terms. And then you can also say whether you use the, City of Newark $1 program, or you just go through NACA in the normal channels, you'll have that opportunity. And also to purchase a house and have money set aside in a rehab escrow where you can do the renovation after you close. So that allows you to compete with those cash investors who are, buying up these single family homes.
Yeah.
So, and you can buy a single family or up to a 4 unit house. As you said, you can, it can be existing, it can be new construction, condo, whatever that is. So we got all the bases covered. And that's why I can actually say that I started NACA 38 years ago. I can only say it was a true success in June of 2019. We did an event at the World Resorts Casino in Queens, New York, and we had over 20,
Hometown.
yeah, and we had over 20,000 people come, and without any media, without any outreach, it was by word of mouth.
Yeah.
People telling family members, co-workers, neighbors, everybody, if you want affordable home ownership, you come to NACA. And
Wow.
we expanded that nationwide.
And you mentioned without fanfare. Imagine if you had the fanfare, the attention, what you could have, what else you could have accomplished in this time frame. But it seems like you're on your way, though.
Oh, absolutely. And we don't want it to discourage anybody from coming. We want to encourage people to come.
Yes.
Encourage. We've got this down. And remember, we're not new to this. During the mortgage crisis, we did what we called Save the Dream events.
Yes.
And we did this nationwide. We did it, New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, Atlanta, nationwide. We did 144 of those events, and sometimes we had 40 or 50,000 people come. And we were able to modify and save over 500,000 homeowners from foreclosure. So
Wow.
we know how to do this. So yes, please, if you're listening to this or you know anybody, come to this event, because we've got this. We can handle by far the number of people. We will have people on site, and we will have people who will be counseling from around the country. So we have hundreds of counselors who are going to be there from 8 in the morning, probably past 10 o'clock or midnight, because we don't turn anybody away.
A
And we do
dollar
it
and a
after 5 days.
dream. That is an amazing thing. Patricia Hobbs. One last thing. You've gotten your property. You seem extremely happy. Um, how are you encouraging others?
So you'll be surprised how many people ring my bell because my property was on the news. So I have a lot of people that ring my bell. I work from home also, so I have to tell them like you have to come back on Saturday and Sunday. But I like to tell people first that they have to want it. They have to believe in themselves. They have to believe that they're capable of doing it and they deserve it. That's first and foremost. Nobody can want it more than you want it. And then I tell them to apply for NACA. Some people tell me it's NACA, it's a hard process. Like I tell people, if you want it, nothing is hard.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to you easily. So complete the process with NACA. Let them qualify you for the mortgage, help you get qualified, and then go step by step from there.
Wow. And finally, Mr. Marks, just to bring this home, this $1 property. What's the average mortgage, give or take, throughout this process? It goes through. Person pays $1. They get all they qualify for everything. What are they looking at on average for paying monthly in their mortgage?
So let's take an example. Let's say that someone is going to have a house built, and it's going to be a prefab, beautiful homes. These are with the structural panels, so you save 75% of your energy cost as a homeowner, and 9-foot high ceilings, you know, porch and all that. So it's a 1,200 square foot unit, 3 bedroom, 2 baths, a big living area, a big kitchen area. You're talking about, now we can have it built for $85 a square foot, $85. So that comes out to about $100,000. Then you have about $15,000 to $20,000 where you have to do the foundation, you have to do the site, and you have to do the hookups,
Right.
for the utilities. So you got $120,000. And with the Naca mortgage, you're talking about a mortgage payment of between $750 and $800 a month.
Nice.
That's the reality of the $1 home ownership program. Now, the other way you can do the $1 is you're saying, here is a vacant house. Here's an abandoned house. So we have contractors going in there saying, how much will it cost to renovate that house? And let's say it's going to cost $100,000. Well, that's your mortgage payment. It's $100,000. Not anything more than that $100,000. So, it's really the true neighborhood stabilization program. And as you heard from Ms. Hobbs, we verify everything in that someone provides us. So you say what your income is, we want you to verify it. If you say,
Right.
here are the assets, you got to verify it. Here are the mortgage payments, verify it. So it's trust and verify. But we set up the streamlined process so that you can get through quickly. And as Ms. Hobbs says, you control this process. You've got to stick through it because this is the biggest transaction you'll probably do in your lifetime. And you want to make sure it's done right.
Wow. Well, the Home Ownership Revitalization Program, Newark, New Jersey, 5 days starting on Friday. But as Bruce Marks, the CEO of Naca, says, you can do this in other places as well, and Naca will help you. Come to that event in Newark starting this Friday, June 23rd. Bruce Marks, Patricia Hobbs, and of course, Mayor Ras Baraka. We thank you so much for joining the Black Presses. Let it be known. Really appreciate it. Great information. Folks, check it out, and we will report back on it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow morning at our regular time.